we moved to Los Angeles and started. I was really lucky. I met some people immediately at the major rehearsal studio there called SIR, Studio Instrument Rentals, which was the hub for rehearsals for bands going on tour, and if there were cattle calls, they needed musicians, blah, blah, blah. So I got hooked up with some pretty important musicians there. We came up north to do a demo with Ronnie Montrose producing. I flew home after it, and that night he called me and asked me to join his band, Gamma, that's the poster of the first album I ever played on, real album. That's the Gamma 2 album. Now this album cover won Album Cover of the Year because it was so clever. That was the first album I ever played on. When you're younger, you get, not seduced by it, but you get maybe a little drunk from it. I don't know what would be the correct adjective. You start to believe it a little bit, you know, that you're something special, you know, in terms of like, oh, you know, I'm playing a big time band, you know. And when you're young, you know, you shoot for that stardom thing and you think it's such a big deal. But if more of the success starts to come later, and for me a lot of it came later, you're more grounded and you don't fall into the traps of it. Meaning, like, you know, the all-night parties, the drugs, you kind of like, you know, you kind of got that thing out of your system young, and you found that that was a dead-end street. So some of them can get stuck on getting high and drugs and doing them when you're still in your 40s and in your 50s, and it's like, dude, John Entwistle had a heart condition and he was like snorting blow at the Hard Rock Cafe in his hotel room on heart medication. You're still caught in that world of stardom and bullshit, you know? These are a bunch of my backstage passes. This is the AC/DC Back in Black tour. We were the opening act on that tour. I was playing in arenas with this band Gamma, opening for AC/DC across the country on their Back in Black tour with, you know, all those great songs, and hanging out with those guys, and, you know, and then doing more albums and playing, you know, big gigs. And, you know, somehow, some way, I persevered and was able to sustain a career from that, even after that band broke up. I ended up still doing more records with Ronnie and a bunch of his solo records, and then we did a Gamma 4 reunion album in the early 2000s. I got played on the Last Journey album. When Ross got sick, they called me and asked me to fill in for him. Blah, blah, blah. I guess the point I'm ultimately trying to make is, as a career musician, you have to kind of reinvent yourself throughout your career, become proficient in a lot of different styles, you know, if you want to stay busy.